changed a little bit, but oh wow, more than 100 plus workers, that new workers that were going to be required. And we were talking about challenging on things like case management for these workers so they can move from apprentice to journey levels and graduating them so workers will be available for future opportunities, as well as making a gateway at that runway that James was talking about to providing workers for future projects. And so not hearing that is a little challenging, and then asking how are we going to make our recommendations a reality. That's kind of a deflating question for me, and I'm speaking for me. I can't speak for anybody else. Because I know personally, I have given some personal observations off the record and on the record, and I'm beginning to feel like I understand what Mr. Posey is saying. It's like, okay, yeah, this is almost like a square filling exercise, as we used to say in the military. We checked the square, we met with COAC, good, keep it moving. So I'm gonna stop there, because that's not what, yeah, I'm feeling it a little bit now.
I think maybe Jeff, maybe you can expand. I think the next couple meetings are going through the COAC matrix and kind of showing how things are getting incorporated.
Yeah, it is. So the next, and a lot of the things, that you guys have suggested are already kind of in the plan in terms of things you talk about, case management, which is going to be the workforce advocate whole position is kind of helping people get there, right? How we're going to monitor people going from pre-apprenticeship to apprenticeship to journeyman. And hopefully we can move some people to the foreman level on this project is what our goal is, our hope is, right? So a lot of those comments, and for the next 2 meetings, we'll be continuing to work through all those comments, right? So we're taking them, we hear you, a lot of this stuff, we've collaborated on Lee for years about what it looks like and do this. So this is not new rodeo for either one of us, right?
Right.
So, like James and a lot of others been around a long time, and what's been effective and what hasn't been effective, right? And so that's what we're working towards. So we'll incorporate that in. And ODOT is doing a good job in SEC. We're still, moving this whole agenda together. That's all. Let me just say that.
Well, Jeff, you're my barometer. And if you say, Lee, it's okay, then Lee's gonna sit back and say, all right, Jeff's got this, because I know Jeff.
Right.
And I know what you're gonna do on this project. I also understand the challenges that you're up against, Jeff, because I've run projects and been a part of our project management teams. I know the challenges.
We've had a lot of discussion on your projects, right? About how
Yes.
you're going to move the needle on the things you had to do. So
Yes.
and this is not going to be any different, man. ODOT's a big organization, right? It's
Yes, indeed.
doing things a certain way, right? You've been fighting on battles for years, right? But we have to work positively to that, right? And we don't want to go rogue in this process, because the ultimate goal is to achieve the outcome that's desired, that's going to benefit our people. And
Exactly.
we can't lose sight of that, with grievance, right? We have to stay the course, right? And the course is to move things further, to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. And I couldn't be happier with the JV team and what they're doing in this whole process and supporting this process, right? And we'll work, ODOT, we'll get there. We just got we're keep working at it. We'll get there. I'll scream. When I need to scream, I know how to scream.
I know you do.
Well,
so let's flip this script a little bit.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Hold on, Joe. Let me finish this thought. How about we have those list of those recommendations next time, and we talk about what's being done to address them, because I think that's what's missing, Jeff.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Perfect.
All right, Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I concur with you, Lee. I kind of been taking, because I'm new to this particular space, I'm relying heavily on Jeff in terms of how I'm feeling. So I'm following, listening, and watching. But to get direct, and I also agree with you, Lee, about the actual question, putting it back on us. And my thought was protest. So how can the COAC ensure that things move the way that they need to move, or that our recommendations are being followed, is to lead protest. I mean, to me, that could be, I can't think of any other way to answer the question, to your point, Lee, that was posed. I mean, we're supposed to, how do you do that? You want recommendations, then you want us to ensure that they happen. So just food for thought. Food for thought, and it's provocative. It's
Well,
provocative.
let's, Joe, did you say protest?
I said protest.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's not protest yet. Okay. let's
No, I mean,
to
hey,
work.
let's.
Excuse
So
me.
can I turn the tables a little bit and just ask a question? So
One second. One second,
go
Mr.
ahead, Corinne.
I know we got in and we were highly emotional on the question, but we did not designate our spokesperson and our person.
I'll take it tonight because last time I wasn't able to because I had to check out early.
Okay.
All right, my man.
Hey, don't leave out the protest.
I wrote that down, Joe, because wow.
I need y'all to, let me just say this to you. A lot of you community people that have been with me for a long time, I need y'all to rock with me on this process. I really need y'all to just let the process work. Let the process work. Let it work, right? We'll get there.
Indeed.
Lee, me and you have done it a lot.
We have.
Joe, we've done it in a lot of different arenas as well. Where we've had
And I'm gonna give you one. I'm gonna give you one, Jeff, that I bring up often, and I'm starting to see it happen now. And that is on recommendations to affect and influence the industry. You know, I've been big on that over the years. And that is for our GCs, Jeff, to say to your unions and JTCs, this is what we need. And begin to attack the problem that way. Because a lot of times I'm hearing it in the reverse, that, well, we don't have anybody telling us this is a problem. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And so I think the contractors, if you're saying we need more workers, more minorities, and more women, we need more recruitment in this area, we need this, we need that, to the JTCs, to the training units, and to the unions, I think I just know that's got to have an influence and cause and influence them to change their, what are the things called, their master agreement, how they operate, their operating
master agreement.
Thank you. Those things that would go a long way to helping to change the paradigm in this notion. And I think we have the people that can do it in this environment.
Well, we've had a lot of good collaborations already with a lot of the trades. You know, I've been big on that. You know, I was a non-union forever. I just joined the unions over the last 5 years. And so, you know,
Right. I remember.
The first thing I had to do is settle that we got to fix this. It's a real problem and we got to fix this, right? So I agree. So that's a good recommendation, right? To continue to work with the JATCs and the unions, all the training agents, to get people of color into there, so we don't have such a huge gap between journeyman workers for both open and non and union shops. Mrs. Hennessy.
Hi, good evening, everyone. And I just wanted to chime in and I absolutely agree with Lee Fleming on reaching out. Oftentimes, just in my experience, since I've been with the carpenters, what I've experienced is that contractors come around at the 11th hour and are looking for apprentices, and they're what we call uniform. So they're specialized, and we can give them, several apprentices to fill a position, but they're looking for one apprentice to check the box on so many different levels. But if we know ahead of time what is needed, then we're able to fulfill the obligation. So I'm right in there. Let us know what you need in the beginning, so that we can make sure that we're all successful.
It's good input. Thank you. Corinne, can you put the questions back up so we make sure we're working through them? Okay, so we start answering that. Anybody have any more recommendations? So about this.
Yeah, Jeff, I have another one for you. I'm full of ideas tonight, full of something. What I'd like to see that I think would really, really be helpful, because I don't see it often, the carpenters do an excellent job of this, and that's reporting on their efforts to recruit and obtain workers. I think that detailed reporting is essential, because without that, it leaves owners and contractors just kind of hanging in the wind and at the whim of the union and of the unions, who then blame the JATCs if there's some shortcomings. And so I think that reporting would begin to close down that gap, along with that early recruitment. Thank you, Twan, and collaboration.
Okay, let's talk about the second part of that question. How can you guys as members, which you've already suggested, I know at the Carpenters, you can affect change, because that's what you are at the Carpenters, you can affect change. How can you help us in making these recommendations of reality? We'll ask you that question to the COAC. Kenichi, Lee, you guys, how can y'all help us? Joe? Besides protest, Joe.
So mine is a twofer kind of response. I've been sitting with question one. What recommendations can you offer as to how we influence the industry primes and general contractors related to other ongoing projects to hire the gap today? And Jeff, I'm going back to the comment that you made, I don't know, when I first stumbled in, around some of the support that you're offering workforce on your current projects and how that's helping build a pipeline for the next projects. And I'm curious about some of the work that the JV, because I love that you're working with the JV team on their current projects to help with that. Is there anything that we, the COAC members, can be doing to support that process? Because I'm talking for myself, but I think it also applies for any of the other CBOs that you come in contact with in construction. We can all be working together to help build a pipeline and to help grow people on the projects of the JV. So JV team, Raymore, what are some thoughts that you have on how we can together proactively on the current projects that you have grow the capacity of workforce through greater utilization of subcontractors of color?
So what I would suggest to you on, the projects that they currently have, we're working very diligently with that in terms of getting people out there. What the bigger concern is all the other projects that are currently out there and all the other primes that are currently have these projects, how you guys support us by continuing to have that dialogue with those other projects, right? I know, Lee, you've been holding the county down now for a while in terms of the efforts and things that you guys are doing. But Kenichi, continuing to outreach to all this stuff that's going on at the airport, all this building that's going on all over the city, right? And to continue to encourage those firms and to take some of the things that we're doing in terms of actively going out and recruiting people, and then taking those people and placing them and convincing, some of these other projects to hire these people, and then give them the next necessary support they need to actually be successful. Don't just give them a broom and pay them, right? Actually get them in there and really teach them a real skill so that they can become, really skilled. So I would suggest that, just you guys reaching out to all the other projects. Hamilton has a few projects in this region that we're already doing that with. Sun has the wastewater treatment plant. That's the only thing they have. Raymore constantly does it. What our thing said, 70% of our management, 50% of our workforce are people of color or minority. So reaching out to all these other projects and helping them do it, helping us with ODOT, continue to have the conversation with some of the ODOT's other projects, right, that are going on, and getting people of an inclusive, background involved in those projects. So that's how you can help.
Okay.
10 minutes, 10-minute warning.
Okay, let's move to the second. We talked about that. That's the second question we already answered. What is the recommendations can you offer? What additional recommendations can you offer to bridge the gap within the journey level disparities by craft? What recommendation we talked about, that you hit it head on. We gotta continue to stay on the unions and the JATCs and all these people doing that to make sure they understand the importance of this. and making sure we're holding them accountable. And then you talked about making sure, Tawana, making sure that we get an early start with them and not waiting at the last minutes to be able to, to get people out there, to give you enough time to really actively recruit, maybe pull somebody else out right on that piece of it, right? So what other recommendations do you guys have?
Can I ask a question, Jeff?
Yes.
So I guess I'd like the COAC to help me with an issue, because I sit on the board at the College of Construction, Northwest College of Construction, and I sit on the laborers pre-apprenticeship, or not pre-apprenticeship, but apprenticeship JATC. And the laborers for the last several months have been looking for apprentices. They have jobs right now for, last I knew, 16 apprentices that they can't place. They have no ability. So how can we, the JV and the COAC, locate these people to help fill these positions to build the pipeline? Because even if they don't go out to the joint venture right now or Raymore, there's other firms out there that they can go to work with and start building this pipeline and making it happen for the community and the JV at the same time. So I'm kind of curious, as I know Terrence is working really hard on trying to fill a lot of these positions, but it seems like if there's such a need out there, and I know there's a need, how can we help? How can we get people motivated? How can we get them to the college to get into the apprenticeship program?
I can take a crack at that.
Go, Joe.
Yeah, I would say, and I'm only going to speak for my organization, but on the pre-apprenticeship side, we're very intentional, like Jeff was talking about. And when you're working with people, young people, who again come from families that know nothing about the business, so they don't have the background growing up. They're just not familiar with the industry, and it takes a lot of resources to fill the void left by, quite frankly, by the high school system. So back in the day, the high school system gave people an introduction into the world of building construction at certain levels, and now that's gone. And so my response to your direct question is that you need to invest in organizations like ours and other pre-apprenticeships so we can scale up, so we can bring more people in. So what we do, pre-apprentice for us is extremely expensive. So we only train 12 participants a cohort. And I have 3 staff members working on this project, and a lot of it is, well, it's twofold. It's the on-the-job kind of training, but it's also the life skills training and the coaching. I mean, there's a lot. The days of just having a bunch of people out here who are familiar with the industry and eager to work, and to me, those days are over. So we have to create an environment and invest in making this happen. So it requires serious investment. I can go on record. I'm looking for major investment. So I want to get out of the boutique. I consider us a boutique pre-apprenticeship program because we only have 45 participants going through a year. It's extremely expensive. And so I'd like to get up to 245 a year. If we get up to that level, now I think we are in a better position to solve that issue that you just laid out in front of us.
If I could tag on real quick, because we're running out of time. In addition to that, Joe, I would say we lobby, not only invest in the pre-apprenticeship program, but lobby to change in our education systems to bring back those trade programs, so we can recruit and train young people, start getting our hands on them early. And then to really talk about that bridging the gap to journey level disparities, that every contractor and unions buy into and train on job site culture and cultural competency. Because that's where we lose a lot of people. They get to job sites and stuff happens and then they're gone.
Yep.
And then if I could also add the mentorship piece on the job site, because we lose a lot of apprentices in the second year, but if we're pairing them with someone that is grooming them for that journey level position, then that's a way to retain, right? And it's like each one teach one, and then we're able to just continue on and knock out the disparities that are there. But we're going to have to be intentional about doing it. We identify it as, a concern, and we come to the table and we talk often about what we can do, but we really need to be intentional about doing something. And mentorship, again, is a big part of it as well.
Yeah, and I would agree with that wholeheartedly. And I would add to that, what my dream model would include both mentors and life coaches. Because what we've been experiencing, there's some life stuff that our clientele is dealing with, what I would call off the court stuff that they need support with as well to be successful. So it's on the court and off the court.
So would that be summarized as case management, Joe? Better case management?
I would do it like, I would call it life coach because it's more intensive.
Okay.
See, when it's life coach, it's case management is a 1 to 30, life coach is a 1 to 5. Constant contact. Constant. We're doing that in violence prevention.
Okay.
We're trying to get it going in violence prevention.
I'm trying to catch it as good as I can. If I say it wrong,
okay, my bad.
Don't y'all say
No, you got it. Hey, yeah, just get the protest. Just get the protest.
Oh, I'm gonna say that one because that was hilarious. I can see Joe out there with his sign. Ooh-wee. Oh,
y'all crazy.
Y'all tough tonight, boy. All right.
Okay.
Hey, Corinne, thank you for putting up with us.
All right, guys. So let's get back in. Lee, you're gonna take a report out.
Yeah, I got some sketchy notes, but yeah, I'm gonna do my best. I think I got it. I got it. Thanks, Jeff.
Anybody else got anything with last 30 seconds? Any comments?
This was good.
I'll see you guys on the other side. All right.